You told your mother she wasn't a burden. Then she found the final warning from work. 6 missed days. Everyone tied to a day you had left work to help her. She looked up from the page. You said work understood. At 6:40 on Wednesday morning, your mother found the warning you had meant to hide. Your closed laptop was still on her kitchen table. The home aide had canceled the night before, so you had driven over after work, made dinner, helped your mother get ready for bed, and answered emails from her kitchen until sometime after midnight. Human Resources required you to sign an acknowledgement of the warning, so you had printed it and slipped it beneath the laptop before falling asleep in the chair. Your mother came in to make tea. When she lifted the laptop to clear a place for her cup, the page slid into view. She did not need to read the whole message. She recognized enough of the dates. The physical therapy appointment. The morning her ride never came. The afternoon she could not manage the front steps alone. The day the aide canceled with 20 minutes notice. You had called each one a small change. The warning called them a pattern. Are you losing your job? She asked. No. You reached for the laptop. She kept one hand on it. Are you sure? Not if things become more predictable. Her eyes moved back to the subject line. Final attendance warning. How long have you known? You closed the screen. It's fine. Your mother looked at you for several seconds. That is what you say when you don't want me to ask. For months, she had asked whether she was taking too much from you. For months, you had protected her from the answer. Now the answer was sitting between you on the kitchen table. None of the care had looked large when it arrived. After the fall, your mother came home using a walker and insisting the arrangement would be temporary. 1 week, her ride to therapy failed. The next, the aide canceled while you were already at work. Each problem had an obvious solution. I'll move the meeting. It's easier if I come. You said those sentences so often that neither of you noticed they had become the care plan. Your mother noticed that you looked tired. She noticed the laptop open during dinner and the way you checked the time at the front steps. She asked whether work was being affected. You told her your manager understood. You told her the schedule was flexible. When she mentioned paying for transportation, you said the clinic was only 15 minutes away. She believed you and declined the service. That was the part you had not prepared for. She was making choices using the answers you gave her. At the table, she opened the laptop again. You did not just hide this warning, she said. I was going to tell you. When? When I had a plan. You gave me the wrong answer every time I asked. I didn't lie. You said nothing was changing. Because I did not want you refusing things you needed. Your voice rose, then softened. The first night after your mother came home, you had found her sitting on the edge of the bed because she could not lift her injured leg beneath the blanket. When you helped, she apologized 3 times. The next morning, she asked what the aid would cost. When you told her, she said she could manage without one. You heard the fear beneath the number, fear of becoming the reason your life became smaller. So you began removing the evidence. You took clinic calls in the hallway. You answered work messages from parking lots. You changed appointments without mentioning what they replaced. Your job required scheduled client coverage. When you left without notice, someone else had to take over. At first, your team moved meetings around you. Then they stopped moving them. The warning had not arrived without notice. There had been conversations, a request for a reliable schedule, a reminder that coworkers were covering your work, an offer to discuss formal leave that you postponed because naming the situation made it feel permanent. You were not being punished for caring about your mother, but the office could not plan around emergencies no one could predict. I thought showing you the cost would make you stop asking for help, you said. Your mother looked toward the walker beside the wall. Maybe I would have asked for different help. She asked to see your calendar. You said there was nothing else to see. She waited. You opened it. The 6 missed days were marked in red, but those were only the days the company counted. They did not show the video meeting you took from your car outside physical therapy. They did not show the vacation mornings used for pharmacy calls and insurance forms. They did not show the nights you reopened your laptop after your mother went to bed. They did not show the client assignment you stepped away from because you could not promise you would be available for the trip. Your mother touched the empty week where the assignment had been. What was here? A project. What happened to it? Someone else took it? She looked at the calendar again. You kept telling me I wasn't a burden. You looked down, but you never let me see what carrying me was costing you. She did not say it with anger. That made it harder to answer. Family caregiving rarely arrives as one visible job. It arrives as rides, paperwork, medication, change schedules, and the expectation that one person will always answer. The damage often comes when one person quietly becomes the backup plan for everything. I didn't tell you because I didn't want you to feel guilty, you said. Your mother closed the laptop and moved it back toward you. You didn't spare me the guilt, she said. You took away my chance to help decide. Neither of you spoke. Then your mother looked toward the therapy schedule on the refrigerator. Then I'll cancel physical therapy. No, you said work. That is not what I want. Then stop deciding for both of us what I'm allowed to cost. For the first time, the problem was not whether she needed care. It was whether either of you could keep making the plan without the other. You looked at the laptop again. Every time she had asked what the care was costing, you had used reassurance to end the conversation. You had not asked what she was willing to spend, which risks she was willing to accept, or which parts of her routine she wanted to rebuild. Your mother reached for a yellow legal pad beside the telephone. Then show me all of it, she said. You wrote down the recurring tasks: physical therapy, groceries, medication, insurance calls. The front steps, the AIDS cancellations. Your mother drew 3 columns. Only you. Someone else can do this, Mom decides. Under only you, the list was shorter than you expected. 1 appointment each month where the doctor wanted family history, the insurance calls that required both of you, the Sunday visit you wanted to keep because it was time together, not only care. Under someone else can do this, you wrote transportation, routine pharmacy pickup, and backup help. Under Mom decides, your mother wrote which service to use, what she was willing to spend, and which tasks she wanted to resume as her balance improved. The first transportation service did not run on one of her therapy days. The backup aid cost more than she was willing to pay twice a week. Your mother crossed out 2 options when she saw the prices. You almost said, I'll handle it. She looked at you before you could. That is how we got here. So the plan changed. She moved 1 therapy appointment to a day the service covered. You kept driving her to the other one. The pharmacy arranged delivery. Groceries remained something the 2 of you did together on Sundays. For canceled aid visits, your mother chose 1 paid backup morning each week and a neighbor she was willing to call for smaller things. Then you opened the email from Human Resources you had postponed. HR could not erase the warning. They explained the formal process, the documentation required, and which temporary schedule options you could request. You and your mother scheduled 1 care planning call every Sunday evening. Problems could still happen, but every problem would no longer arrive as a private emergency during your workday. After that, whenever either of you said, "It's fine," the other asked, "What does fine cost this week?" Not every family can afford paid help. Not every employer offers meaningful flexibility. Transportation is unreliable in many places, and some care cannot be delegated. The legal pad did not repair those gaps. It did something smaller and more important. It made the need and the cost visible before one person was expected to absorb both. Several weeks later, you were at your desk before an important morning meeting. Your notes were open. Your car keys were beside the laptop. Your mother called. "The driver's here," she said. You looked at the keys. "Do you need me to come?" There was a pause. You could hear your mother moving through the kitchen. On her refrigerator was the plan the 2 of you had written. "Not for this one," she said. Your hand moved toward the keys anyway. Then it stopped. "Call me when you get there." "I will." You stayed in your chair. At 9 you joined the meeting. Across town, your mother locked her front door and walked toward a ride she had chosen. For months, being needed had been the only evidence you trusted that you were loving her well. But love was not measured by how much of your life disappeared without anyone seeing it. Your mother had not asked you to care less. She had asked to know the truth early enough to help shape what care would become. Love had not become smaller. It had finally stopped depending on one person disappearing.